Hi everyone, it's Mary Alice from Change Your Aim, Change Your Life. And as I promised in my last blog, I was going to do a little video for you. That cough is cleared up. Man, that hung on for a long time. It was hard to talk without coughing, so I didn't want to do a video coughing. It's a beautiful day here. I was outside potting flowers and enjoying the sunshine, and butterflies are in my yard, and the spring has sprung, and I love it. And I also can tell because my freckles are coming out when I'm in the sun. My freckles come out. So I hope all of you are doing well. Thank you to those who have emailed me and asked for another video, and I'm so happy to do it. So here you go. I was telling you about a story about an elephant, and it's really a good story. And you know what? You might have heard of it before, maybe in a different context or maybe a different way, because the story, and I don't know who to credit the story to. I wish I did. I would do that. If I knew the name of the person, it might be a fable, it might be, I don't know where it came from, but I heard it a long time ago, and I've heard it, other speakers use it for different reasons or different symbolism. But I have my rendition of it. So here it goes, and it's a little bit embellished. But there are layers of this story that are very deep, and if you think about what I'm saying, it has the contents of our life and the aspects of our life and the ages of our life. So listen carefully and see if something doesn't pop up for you, okay? Here it goes. In the jungles of Africa was a beautiful herd of elephants. And maybe you've seen some on National Geographic shows or whatever, but herds of elephants they're very family oriented. They like to stay close to each other. And in this scenario, there was a baby elephant, probably about a year old, and he was off kind of frolicking and getting some water off to the side. And a short time later, he kind of brought his head up and looked around. He didn't hear anybody. He didn't see the herd, and he called out to his mother, because baby elephants will do that, and the mothers are very keyed into the trumpet sound, the calling of their infants, of their baby elephants. And nothing happened. He didn't hear a response, he didn't see anything, and he did it again, and nothing. This time he was getting distressed. And he kept calling out and walking around very nervously. Didn't see anything. But he sensed something was wrong. So he was so distressed. And when elephants are distressed, they do cry. They actually cry. And this baby elephant, big tears were coming down his side of his face as he was calling out. And then suddenly, he was hit from behind, and he fell over. Hours later, he wakes up in a very dark, closed-in crate and can barely get himself to stand. Again, very distressed, very disoriented, not sure what's going on. Fortunately, there was some food in there. He was able to eat and have some water, but still very distressed. He wasn't hungry. All he wanted was to be with his herd, with his mother, and with what he knew was his life in the jungle. Well, hours and hours and hours later, and all this movement, he could hear voices and not even sure what that was. And there was this rattling and movement and this kerplunk. And then the side of the crate comes down, and he could see for the first time after hours of where he was, and he did not know where he was. He couldn't identify anything in front of him. And there were people, and he didn't even know what people were. He never saw people in the jungle, and so these people were forcing him and prodding him and poking him and putting this huge rope around his neck to pull him out of the crate. And he had to comply. And he did. And he kept calling and worrying and stressing. And of course, the people ignored it. They finally pushed and prodded him into this very large yet portable cage. And they tethered his leg with a heavy chain, and it let him roam somewhat within the cage. He had some room to roam, but not far enough. So he would kind of pace and walk and worry and pace, and boom, he'd get pulled back from the chain, so he had to go back. And after several weeks, this groove was, into this path of the dirt, the floor of his cage. So this went on for years, and twice a day for a couple hours each, these handlers would come and again, they would put him in positions that his body wasn't used to. They'd poke and prod and starve or beat him to do these tricks. Now you can imagine I'm talking about a circus. This elephant is in a circus now, and he's growing, and he's eating a lot, and he's aware of other elephants within the realm of where he is. He doesn't even, you can imagine, you don't know where you are, you don't know what you're doing, you just know that you have to comply or else. So he complied, and over the years he would do his tricks, and people would clap, and he became this huge bull elephant and became actually the star of the show, of the circus. But little did he know that he was so strong that he could push over that portable cage. Little did he know that there was no chain on his leg anymore. But he still just walked that groove, believing those were his boundaries and perimeters. Little did he know what a mighty elephant he was, and that he could destroy that circus tent if he wanted. Now, this is kind of the end of the story, and I'm going to talk about us and how it relates to us, if you can imagine. We have these mental chains within us, in our subconscious, of belief systems, some very, very good, and some not so good. We have belief systems about ourselves, especially those who have been abused or had really difficult upbringings, a real challenge as a child, of any scenario you want to put into it. I know mine, and I know I've shared that with you, and I know other people too who have had a very difficult childhood, and sexual abuse or physical abuse or verbal abuse or psychological abuse or all of the above. And so what happens is we develop these grooves and these patterns. So you not only have the abuse or the rough condition or perhaps being handicapped or feeling like there was something wrong with you and always being teased or bullied about that. So you can imagine what we do. We develop these coping mechanisms because we want to protect ourselves. We want to believe so much that we are important, but we feel like losers. We have low self-esteem. We can't express or explain what had happened to us. Some of us believe it was probably normal for a long time in life. So we build up these coping mechanisms of being very codependent or just wanting to be loved no matter what, or becoming promiscuous or shy or whatever. So we have these boundaries. So this chain in our brains, because we've been chained to think a certain way, where we just walk these boundaries back and forth and think that's it, that's our life. It can't get any better. And yet, we are amazing, miraculous, powerful, wonderful, magnificent human beings. And yet we are so chained to the hidden shame within us that keeps us bound in our life. I want you to know it doesn't have to be that way. And I know you've heard me time and time again, we are not our past. It takes effort and it takes understanding of how to dismantle those belief systems in our subconscious. It's not just enough to have great faith and go to church and know that God loves you, because that's all true. But I know so many people who believe that, and yet their lives are still so sad. They keep attracting into their life hurt and pain and just accidents and weird things that go on because they don't believe that life can be better for them. We don't have to remain victims in our life. We really don't. And we don't have to have a self-defense of anger or a chip on our shoulder either. That's so unbecoming. Who are you really? This is the outline for my next book, is who are you really? Once we uncover and take off all the crap that's just shoving that aim down in our life, the innate aim of our ability to succeed and be the best that we can be. Once that's off, it's like, who are you? Who are you really? Who do you want to be? Who do you think you are? What are your passions? What do you love to do? What kind of hobbies would you like to pursue? What would you do if you didn't have to think about what other people thought? What would you like to do if you knew you didn't fail? My message is to get rid of those chains. I am so blessed and I'm so grateful to be taught by world-renowned specialists in the brain and about the subconscious. And I am excited about putting together, I keep talking about the seminar, but there's so much more information that I want to keep adding, that I want to make it really good. And I'm going to do a beta test soon of the seminar. I would love for any of you listening to be a part of that. Of course, live would be the best thing. I will try and see if I can have it recorded and share it with you and get feedback from you. But in the meantime, I just want you to take that story about the little elephant, and think about the levels of mental destruction that had to happen in order for him to be this huge bull elephant performing in a circus. I know I have felt that way. I have lived part of my life in default mode. You heard me talk about the default mode of how we let the subconscious run our life. We just live and react and respond and think, oh, this is me, this is who I am, and we can't figure out why life isn't working for us because we're letting all the dysfunction and all the wrong thoughts and belief systems to run our life, instead of really taking hold of our minds and renewing our minds. And some of us who are familiar with the New Testament talks about the renewing of our minds. We can do that, especially now with the cutting edge science that we know and have about the brain, about our subconscious. This is the information that I want to give. So that's it for today. That's it for this message. And I think I'm going to go back outside and plant some more flowers while the day is still sunny and bright and beautiful. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Please let me know what you think about this story, if you can relate. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. You can comment below, or you can contact me at maryalice.changeyouraim@gmail.com. Okay? Thank you. God bless you. And I hope you have a great day. Enjoy it. Take care, everybody. Now I'm going to turn it off. And this is the awkward part where I look down and click the button. Take care. Bye.